This is my second time in Metuchen, Edison today. My older sons go to St. Joe's Metuchen, so I'm back and forth. So it's good to be back locally. Michelle, thanks for having me. NJBIA, thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure to be here. As Michelle said, my role at Horizon is head of corporate social responsibility. I'm also the executive director of the Horizon Foundation for New Jersey. Now, I haven't been at Horizon as long as Jim White, 41 years of Covenant House, who's my good friend, still here. I guess he's having breakfast. But I'm in my 28th year at the company, which is a privilege. Well, you don't have to clap, but it's really terrific to be part of such a great organization. I mentioned the foundation a little bit. We are a separate legal entity of Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, and we were founded by our CEO at the time, Bill Marino. Bill founded the foundation in 2004, and since that time, the foundation has invested more than $71 million into community development in the state of New Jersey around health, arts and culture, and other significant programs. And just to give you as context and background in terms of the foundation, we have three areas of focus. We call them our funding pillars. Mark's nodding. He knows some of them. He's a good partner with us. So our caring pillar is all around evidence-based programs to address things such as opioid misuse, mental health, obesity, and diabetes. So that's our caring pillar. Under our connecting pillar, that's all around working with community health workers and other healthcare professionals to address social determinants of health. Think about food insecurity. Think about things like transportation, getting to a doctor's appointment. So that's a big focus for us. And then our creating pillar is all around our support of arts and culture institutions in the state. And as we're looking at our strategy related to the creating pillar, we're looking to transform it in 2024. So we're doing a lot of research, a lot of engagement with our partners to look at how do we connect arts to community health as we move forward in 2024 and bringing it closer to our health mission at the company. So that's a little bit about some of our focus areas. In addition to that, and I just want to give, again, context because I have a great team who I think is online today watching me. So hopefully they'll critique me tomorrow. But part of my role, too, at Horizon is also all of our employee engagement activities. So how do we engage and energize our 5,500 employees across the state? Many of them volunteer. Many of them give back. Many of them contribute financially. So we have a really robust program. And one of our internal priorities, how do we work with our affinity groups, our employee population to really give back in another way? I mentioned our funding, but also the employee piece is such a huge part of what we do. And then finally, just from a kind of a branding and partnership development opportunity, we do lots of work with chambers of commerce associations like NJBIA on some business opportunities. We work with sports venues, different properties around the state. How do we improve the reputation of Horizon? How do we lift our brand? But more importantly, how do we connect with our 3.8 million members in the state to really simplify healthcare and health insurance? And I'll be the first one to admit it. I don't really know my policy that well. It's very complex, and I work at the company. So how do we use these events and these activities in communities around the state to really simplify your benefits and how to best use them? So that's another part of what I do at the company. I want to also say that in my role at Horizon, I've had an opportunity to serve on nonprofit boards, and I've actually served as a development chair for a major nonprofit. So in terms of fundraising and helping organizations build their portfolio, I've kind of been on that side of the fence. And also when the company has senior leaders that do get involved in select events, I'm charged with fundraising. So I'm looking to raise money for that particular event in support of that senior leader, whether it's our CEO or some of our executive leaders. So fundraising is kind of part of my job. In a sense. So that's an interesting aspect of what I do. But I really appreciate being part of the conversation. I know many of you, and Steve Friello said he's going to heckle me in the front, but and many friends in this room, so it's a pleasure to see everyone in person. I really have a privilege to lead this function at Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, and it's also important for me professionally and personally to have a small role in supporting the nonprofit sector here in our state. So just getting to COVID, right? So COVID has had a major impact. Everyone knows what happened over the last 3 years. Serious hardships, challenges for everyone, including nonprofits here in the state and nationally. There's greater needs, right? We're seeing greater needs. Jim talked about it a little bit earlier. He's seeing significant need around the state. He mentioned, I think, 56 people trafficking he was supposed to serve. That number was 156. So that's a perfect example of the greater needs. You have less staff to do your job and do it effectively. You do a great job, but you have less resources, less staff to address those areas. And then different business models were affected. I mentioned the arts and culture institutions a minute ago. They were shut down. And they have to, they raise their money through people coming through their doors, right? For performances, for musicals, for other activities. So they were completely shut down, as an example. So the pandemic and its aftermath have severely hampered your program development, your fundraising, alignment with funders, created more competition for the finite philanthropic resources that are in the marketplace, shifting company priorities, shifting foundation priorities, right? And we're also we've experienced less in-person engagement. Today's a great, this is terrific, everyone in the room. But as we're moving to be more remote and more digital, there's less of that interaction and that collaboration that comes from it. So that's what from my viewpoint. So what I'm going to try to do is think about today in my few minutes, some practical things, coming through the pandemic and really try to leave you with some ideas from Horizon's perspective. I'm always hopeful events like this, you could take away one idea. I know when I attend events like this, I try to take away one idea where I can go back to the company and help my operation just do better and be more successful. So in terms of our few minutes here today, that's what I'm going to try to achieve. Regarding knowing the timing and the fit when you're approaching a corporate foundation, specifically, we all have our annual business plans, right? We all have our strategy. Ours is aligned to our company mission and our company narrative. We also set out and determine our priorities, our areas of focus. Right? We all talk about key performance indicators. What are those? How do they line up with what we're trying to accomplish related to our goals and objectives? And then we also, at Horizon, we have a board of directors. And what's a little bit unusual for us is we have external directors. We have 5 external directors, which is atypical for a corporate foundation. And then we also have executive leadership that is very involved in the work that we do. So like you, we have many bosses at Horizon, and it's true to one degree or another regarding corporate foundations. So here's some of my advice, and I'm not preaching to you. I'm coming to you really from a good place in terms of what I see, what my experience has been, and really at the end of the day, we want to be collaborative. And I wish I had a humongous checkbook, right, to support many organizations in the state. The reality is, we're a large organization, a large company. We have a very, very small budget. So we're very thoughtful in terms of how we allocate and distribute our resources. So here's some of my advice. Again, regarding corporate foundations, spend time understanding their business and their organizational business model. Right? We're a big health insurance company, but we also play in dental business, vision, stop loss, all of these other businesses. So really understand what we do. Get to know their teams and their leaders. Communicate and build authentic relationships with those leaders within the company. Not so much transactional. I see a lot of transactions happening, right? A lot of transactional, but to me, building an authentic relationship is very critical. Stay in contact with the senior program officers of the team. And I think some of them are on the call today. They're your friends. They can help you understand, what is really tying back to our priorities and guiding you in terms of how you position yourself the best way. Timing is critical. Better understanding of timing is very critical. And gaining alignment is essential in terms of when you approach a foundation. Geography is a big part of what we do. So Horizon, we're in all 21 counties. So we have membership in all 21 counties. We serve the entire state. So understanding where we play is really interesting. And for us, as a statewide Blue Plan, the 21 counties are kind of our 21 markets. Right? We look at the different counties as marketplace opportunities. So understanding where we play in the state is also important because, again, we have membership all over New Jersey. And then I would also say, when you're looking at presenting something to a corporate foundation, it doesn't need to be Horizon, ask yourself these questions. Does the program fit the priority areas of that organization, right? Are you clear and specific on the goals that you're setting out with that specific opportunity? Are you clear on how the funding will be used and how you're going to measure that and show an ROI to the organization? Use straightforward and plain language. There's lots of applications that come into us, and you're probably all great writers here, so this is not directed to you. We're trying to figure out what are you asking for? It's a long application. What do you want? So use straightforward language. Plain language is very helpful. No jargon. All this sounds obvious, I'm sure. And as I said to a few of you on the way up to the stage, you're all experts. This is not anything new. But we do receive dozens and dozens of proposals that fit outside of our priorities every year. And the organization has to put in the time and effort to submit that application, which is onerous. Then we have to review it, and then we have to decline it, and then we have to have all of this work that happens where there's really a very slim chance of receiving funding. And I like to call it, chasing the money. That's my jargon. Organizations chase the money. So I would say that's not a good strategy from where I sit. Moving on to thought leadership, you're all leaders in this room. Right? There's 40,000 nonprofits in New Jersey, about 1 million in the country. Many of them focus on health or some aspect of health within their work. We know the competition is fierce for funding, for mind share, especially from health-related philanthropies. Right? We're the largest in the state. Everyone comes to Horizon in terms of our industry. So there's a lot of competition. So whether your organization has a deep or unique approach to a problem in the community, we want you to be the expert. We want you to bring ideas to us. We want you to say, here's an opportunity. Here's how you can serve your constituents better. We're looking for that. You're the experts in the community. We're looking to partner in that way. How do you distinguish yourself? And that's through your expertise, right? So on a tactical level, what do I really mean? So project strong thought leadership. And I'll call out Michelle. She's always on LinkedIn. She's projecting strong leadership with her organization in many different ways. And I really enjoy following you and seeing what you position in the marketplace. Build and cultivate strong relationships. I cannot underline this any stronger with a huge marker. It served me well in my career. Building those authentic and strong relationships is so vital and so important. And it doesn't mean something has to happen tomorrow, but there may be an opportunity 5 years down the road. And I'm a witness to that, where the timing lined up and the priorities lined up. Think about the opioid epidemic in the state of New Jersey and nationally. We didn't play in that space from a funding perspective. 2016, the Surgeon General put out a report on that issue. And we had a relationship with one of the leading nonprofits in the state, and we built our initiative. So relationships really matter significantly. Invest your time serving on panels, present at conferences, be visible in the marketplace. Jim's very visible in the marketplace. Offer up thought pieces, do some writing, offer up a point of view on something, share them on social media, enhance your reputation and your profile within the community. If you have any awards or recognition, your organization, I'm not talking about you personally, showcase those, because funders look at other things outside of the proposal, outside of the opportunity. We're looking at your board, we're looking at your recognition, we're looking at many different things to understand, how can we partner with this organization. So punch up your recognition where you can. And then a good friend of mine, Kurt Whedon, he certainly was the leader of corporate giving. He used to run Johnson & Johnson's worldwide giving programs. He used to tell me when I was young in my career, he's like, John, show up. Carry the flag for Horizon. Show up and be present. So I took that advice very, very well. So I have one more minute, and then I know I'm at time, so bear with me. So investing in relationships, as I mentioned, I cannot underscore that more. Invest in relationships, continue to build them, foster them, and cultivate them. I often say that good relationships blur the line of a partnership and a friendship. When you can kind of blur that line, you have really something special with that person, with that organization. So I try to do that as much as I can. And then I will just leave you with a couple other things, some examples to connect. Everyone's connecting here today, so that's terrific. Teach the funder something. You're all, again, experts in what you do, so teach us how we can be more impactful in our work. Give us data, and we love data, particularly at Horizon, right, Elvin? We love data. We learn to understand what's going on in the community. How can we line up these key data analytical pieces to our own work? And we do partner with our analytics team within the company. So data is very important. Invite us to something. So thanks, Michelle, for inviting me. Invite us. We want to come out. We want to be visible. And if we keep getting invitations, we are going to show up, understand that there's a lot of pressures on us internally for our time, our resources, the things that we do. But we certainly would love to be invited, and we like to show up to activities where appropriate. And just to recap, be laser focused on your fit. Be laser focused on the timing and also the geography. Project thought leadership within your organization and publicly, right? Invest, again, in relationships. Build authentic relationships that are mutually beneficial. It's not all one-sided at Horizon. We're not just looking for an opportunity. We want to build a collaborative relationship, okay? Understand, again, there's competition, right, for the funder's time and the funder's pull within an organization. And at Horizon, there's a lot. I do 60% of my day is on non-related stuff that I just talked to you about earlier. Not my specific job. And so there's a lot going on within the company. And again, beyond the transaction, right? Make it transformational. So when we have a partnership, how can we go from just transactional to transformative? How do we really get deeper into a relationship? As I mentioned, employees, other ways we can work together, co-investing in projects, right? Not just Horizon putting in money, but is the organization also investing in that project in different ways? I mean, we really like those type of opportunities. And then just to finish up, it's you guys are doing an amazing job. Again, we work with many of you in this room, and it's not just enough to put our heads down and do the work and do a great job. It has to be more than that, okay? Program development and strategic giving, you really have to spend a lot of time on trying to frame that for your organization. It requires more from all of us to advance our work, to advance our mission, and for all of us to essentially achieve success together. So I'll just leave you with that. I thank you for your time.